Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be talking about the Babylon Bee, Elon Musk, and Twitter. We're going to be talking about whether the Babylon Bee is having a major cultural impact with the latest major move in the big tech industry and, just the social media environment as a whole. We're going to be talking about the impact. But don't forget to like the video, also subscribe to the channel. Evangelical Dark Web, both myself and my team have been covering the social media issue for a while. We've been covering big tech censorship for a while, pretty heavily because, this is spiritual warfare. Not necessarily big tech censorship, but social media is one of the fronts in which spiritual warfare is fought. Propaganda, hearts and minds type of campaign, and social media is a front. It's not the only front, but it is a front, and it is the front that I operate on via YouTube. That is where we operate online, so social media. So moves that happen in social media are impactful onto the church, specifically as it relates to censorship and what we can and cannot say on social media services. Because of, it upsets the liberal developers to say that a man is a woman, or a man in a dress is not a woman and it's a man. So that upsets them because that's misgendering. Anyway, the Babylon Bee seems to have played a role in inspiring Elon Musk to purchase a large percentage of Twitter. So he posted this tweet on March 25th. Free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? And only 70% of people said no, but that's still a super majority. And then Seth Dillon, who's one of the big wigs over at Babylon Bee, then tweeted out, Musk reached out to us before he polled his followers about Twitter's commitment to free speech. He wanted to confirm that we had in fact been suspended. He even mused on that call that he might need to buy Twitter. Now he's the largest shareholder and has a seat on the board. So by American law, when you purchase 5% of a company, you have to disclose your intentions with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the federal government in general. You have to disclose your intentions, and even if it's a hostile takeover, you still have to disclose it. That's just the law. Whether it's a hostile takeover or just a passive investment, you have to disclose your intentions. And Elon Musk has approximately 9% of Twitter shares, which caused the share price in Twitter to increase by a lot. This is because of supply and demand, not necessarily because Elon Musk is sending a vote of confidence throughout the stock market. That's not necessarily what's going on. It could just be, oh, Elon Musk is buying, let me just raise the price because a super billionaire is buying this product, so it's going to become more expensive. So that being said, Seth Dillon touts that Babylon Bee's censorship on Twitter played a role in Musk's decision to purchase a large amount of Twitter shares. And I got to say, in the past, the last time I talked about the Babylon Bee and Elon Musk was when Elon Musk did an interview with the Babylon Bee, in which the Babylon Bee did a very bad joke of a gospel presentation to Elon Musk. I didn't think it was a funny joke, even though I get the joke. Like, I understand comedy. I got the joke. But I wouldn't have done that on a pagan like Elon Musk, who's, into the whole transhumanism thing. It's one thing to do that joke. You bring on a faithful pastor and then you do that type of joke with them because they're already saved. But to me, if you bring on a pagan, you should have a serious gospel presentation. So I've had that disagreement or that issue with Babylon Bee in the past. Otherwise, I think Babylon Bee could go harder to fight for the church. They could go harder. They can go after more people than Stephen Furtick and Joel Osteen. They go after more people. So, with that said, this would be a major cultural impact if Musk actually can deliver changes to Twitter, which is one of the largest and certainly one of the most influential social media platforms out there. And it's because of Trump that it really emerged that way, by the way. And since Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, has failed miserably because they marketed only to iOS users instead of creating a desktop version of their site that everyone could use, and then creating an app based off that, they wanted to only prioritize the iOS users, which was a very stupid decision. And then they had a waiting list on top of that. So, very poor management by the milkman over at Truth Social, and Trump as well, who didn't even use his own platform as a sign of which is a sign of no confidence. And this also had an impact on Musk's decision because that was the context for all this that was going on. Last month, Truth Social really flopped, and then Musk puts out that poll, and now in April, he has a significant percentage of Twitter. Now, 9% is not even close to majority share, but it did land him a seat on the board of directors, and let's be real, that could have an outsized influence. Even though he only has 9%, that is a very far cry from 50%. And the cost of getting to that 50% threshold is a lot more than is at least 5 times the cost to where he got to where he is now. It's going to be higher than 5 times the amount because his purchasing will increase the share price. So with that said, Elon Musk is on the board of directors. That does entitle him to control the officers of the company. And that, and I believe the shareholders might have to vote on that as well to confirm his appointment, which will be done, because that's just generally how it works. It sounds like they already have the votes to do it anyway. But I'm assuming bylaws that Twitter might not even have. So anyway, he is a personality. He could have let's be real. It's a cock in a hen house. It could be a cock in a hen house situation in which Elon Musk is the richest man in the room and acts like it. So he goes into that board of directors meeting swinging, and they fall in line because he's the alpha male. And therefore, because Elon Musk is the alpha male in that room, things change at Twitter. That is the best case scenario for what is about to happen with Twitter. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Because in order to have real change at Twitter, you need to have a majority on the board of directors to get a CEO that is not a complete liberal. And then after that, you need to install a CEO that is at very least committed to free speech and has that mentality trickle down to the developers and the people who are moderating Twitter. That's a very tall task. In other words, you're asking someone to clean up a corrupted institution. That doesn't really work well with large parachurch ministries, as we've seen in recent history. If a parachurch ministry or a seminary is corrupt, not the easiest thing in the world to uncorrupt it. And Twitter is probably even more difficult because it doesn't have a base of free speech supporters to have a voting bloc to enact control of a company. They don't have that. So I think, and lastly, I'll say this. It's not like Elon Musk does not have a history of overpromising and underdelivering. Let's not pretend like he's never had an issue with that. So I don't see this actually changing anything. But it is interesting to ponder the cultural impact of the Babylon Bee. I think this is a necessary question because, again, social media is one front, not the only front, real life, that is a major front. But social media is a major front of this spiritual warfare that we're engaged in. So with that said, it's important to analyze what's going on in the culture. So that's really all I got to say about that. My name is Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this kind of content, also subscribe to the channel and check out evangelicaldarkweb.org. That is linked in the description below. Have a blessed day, and I will catch you on the next one.